No, it is not clickbait. Siphon is officially back starting today, but it has a little bit of a different twist. So let's run through the blog post that Epic just posted about today's Siphon update and what exactly the Siphon Trials is. Now, after Global Championships, we already knew that they were going to have Siphon Trials and essentially test out different types of Siphon throughout the weeks in the run-up towards Trio FNCS, and that starts today with a different type of Siphon. It is no longer the regular 50 Siphon starting this week, but we're starting off this week with 40 effective health. And then what that means is then, for example, if you're 75 white and you get an elimination, then you're going to be 100 HP white and 10 shield on top of this, so 110 effective HP. Now, every single week leading up to the end of the season, that is going to change. In week number 2, we're going to have 50 effective health, which is your regular Siphon that we all know and love. In week number 3, it's only going to be 25 effective health. In week number 4, it's going to be 75 health over time, but no shield. And in week number 5, it's going to be 50 health and no shield as well. And then in week number 6 is going to be 25 health and 25 shield in total. Now, the question is why? Why are they going to be doing things like this in the upcoming tournaments? Well, Epic, and knowing Epic and speaking to some people very close to Epic, they don't like the actual idea of Siphon. Now, Siphon itself is a very, very powerful mechanic in the right hands and the right player. Essentially, for good players, Siphon is an incredible tool that allows them to sustain through mid-game fights, allows you to get multiple kills. If you get a third party, you have the HP to deal with that situation. But for a casual player or a weak player, that's actually a bad thing, because those players, you know, they're the ones that are going to be looking for opportunities for third partying, and it's effectively increasing the skill gap, because if you're looking to W key a weak opponent who just had a fight, well, all of a sudden they have extra shield and HP that they didn't have before the fight, and it makes it very, very hard to eliminate them after the fight is done. And this is probably the reason why I think Epic removed Siphon in the first place. If I'm being honest, is when all the pros were dropping 1v4 solo versus squad 50 bombs back in chapter 1, I believe. They saw that and realized, yeah, there's something not right here, because all of these pros are dominating the casual players, and these casual players aren't having fun. So these things need to be nerfed and they need to be handled. So I feel like that's one of the key reasons why Siphon got removed in the first place, is because they want to reduce the skill gap, make the better players have that disadvantage after a fight and not get that HP back. And that makes a lot of sense when we look at the overall Siphon Trials now, right? There's a lot of focus on no shield and only effective white health, right? We have basically 3 weeks where they're testing out no shield in total. I mean, the 75 HP over time is a very, very interesting one. It's basically like a slurp juice, but minus the shield, obviously. Week number 5, 50 HP only. Absolute trash probably when it comes to that. And week 6, 25 HP and 25 shield is an interesting one on top of that. Now, they say they're going to be listening to feedback. I wonder what that feedback actually looks like, right? Considering we have a Discord full of pros where we give constant feedback about things like this, including Siphon in the past as well. And in that sense, they always talk about data and looking at what the average player looks like. So I'm very curious to see what the feedback looks like and what they're actually looking for in the actual data and the gameplay they're seeing from everybody else. Now, this will only be added to Ranked Battle Royale and Ranked Zero build. It's not going to be added to Reload and Reload tournaments as well. And on top of that, Ranked Battle Royale and Ranked Zero build will have tournament settings again, which means that jetpacks, cars, and all those things are now going to be removed from Ranked on top of that to make it more aligned with actual tournaments. Now, this is a really good step in the right direction because of what I said before, right? Epic is trying to decrease the gap between pubs and tournaments and Ranked. This now being distinguished and making 2 separate game modes and really locking on the competitive portion of Fortnite rather than the overall experience, and making pubs and Ranked and tournaments more similar to each other. That's one of the reasons why we had a lot of issues before with cores and medallions and things being super overpowered for competitive, but also being impossible to nerf for pubs because they want to keep these items in for the casual players to transfer over into Ranked and competitive and tournaments in the future. So the fact that now we're having these 2 things being distinguished is actually a really, really good thing. It means that potentially we're going to have specific competitive updates, specific competitive things and testing like Siphon now, which means that the overall competitive experience is going to be better and better and better. Now, it's a long time coming, obviously. We really have been asking for this for a very long time, and it's good now they're finally realizing that, hey, competitive is its own product. It's something that needs to be nurtured and created, and has a very niche and specific community that's very, very dedicated, but it requires love. And recently, we haven't had too much love, but with changes to the broadcast and global championships and FNCSs being run by Blast, and now more focused on the competitive side of things, it's only positive things for the future. Last line in this blog post is kind of interesting, that they say the version of Siphon we feel makes for the most balanced and exciting matches will be implemented in future Battle Royale / Zero tournaments. So I guess excitement is an interesting word here to mention. Potentially it's referring to, like I said, global championships, FNCSs, tournaments, right? That takeover now from Blast for FNCSs and the broadcast aspects is maybe something they now feel is an important thing for marketing wise, because they also have sponsors. Hopefully they're really locking on the excitement part, because that's obviously what makes for the best gameplay. We want to see the solo clutches, especially in the game mode like trios. Now solo clutches are pretty much impossible in trios, but when they do happen, Siphon is going to help fulfill that, make those good moments, make for more exciting moments. We all remember that Peterbot clutch of global championships. That's pretty much the only clutch we've seen solo-wise in a long time. So hopefully now we'll see more of that in future tournaments. And the tournaments coming up are going to be very exciting to see what the specific changes feel like and how they differ from our original Siphon. Now, me personally, looking at all of the Siphon lists here, 50 effective HP, I feel like that's bang standard. That's what everybody wants. If I had to make a prediction on what Epic's probably going to add, it's probably going to be week 6, 25 HP, 25 shield, because it does make it slightly more nerfed and make it slightly more balanced, so that we still have that skill gap not being too large in their eyes, but hoping that it's just going to be 50 effective HP. Now, as I'm recording this video, it's actually not in ranked yet, even though they tweeted that it is. Probably an Evo Cup tonight. Hopefully, we'll see. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.